Welcome to the tutorial for super users of eas-e Fica. In this tutorial, I will demonstrate to you how to add and remove users, how to maintain the risk ratings and thresholds in the system, and also how to draw reports. You will have all received 2 emails from the system. The first to notify you that you were loaded as a super user on the system, and the second mail I had asked you to verify your account details, and there you also set up your own password. So your email address is your username and you have selected your own password. If at any stage you forget your password, you have a reset function right there. Okay, the first thing we have to do is log in. When logged in, make sure that you're in as the correct person, so you will see the company in respect of whom you act as a super user, name appear there, and off towards the right of the screen, your name should be the one that is there. On this landing page, there will be a summary of all the users associated with the accountable institution, as well as the capacity in which they have been loaded as users. We recommend, although you can add users here simply by clicking and then populating the detail, we recommend that you don't do it here simply because there is a far easier way at which I will get to a little bit later, to capture new users. So the recommendation is that you simply use this page almost as a summary page to make sure that all the users for whom you accept responsibility are in fact captured as such. Right, off to the main menu, which you'll find in the top left-hand corner, the eas-e Fica icon, if you click on it, you'll see a drop-down menu that appears. The menu is most comprehensive for super users. If you are, for instance, only a data capturer user type on the system, you would be able to see your own profile settings, which you would be able to change, reset password, things like that. And you would be able to see services, which is where the customer due diligence and data capturing work gets performed, and you will be able to see certain remedial actions if those actions have been allocated to you. So it is really only the super users who get to see the comprehensive menu, because you are charged with the responsibility of maintaining users and maintaining the system. Without further ado, let's go to the maintenance of the system, which you'll find in the top icon there that says Manage Accountable Institution. There are 3 main components to the system that you'll see in the top ribbon. The first is the details of the accountable institution. The second is the risk management component, which is quite an important one. And the last one, where we recommend you change the users and maintain the users, sits in the user hierarchy page. Okay, as far as the accountable institution details are concerned, we have your company details, we have a copy of our service level agreement and a copy of your registration documents, if we think it's appropriate, your address, and also the person in your organization to whom our invoices are sent. We go to the risk management page, and one of the most important aspects of the risk management is, as set out in the risk management and compliance program, you will have nominated not necessarily these numbers, but you will have nominated your own thresholds as to what constitutes a low-risk client, a medium-risk client, and a high-risk client. So if you have to change any of these, you simply do it by clicking on those little buttons or arrows, and if you click anywhere else on the page, it will automatically have made the adjustment for you from the one to the next one. You will recall from a training session that customer due diligence comprises 5 main risk categories. So identity risk, residential risk, the screening against the United Nations sanctions lists, understanding your client's business, and also the risk inherent in your own products and services. Each of these categories of risk have subcategories of their own. So if we take the category of identity risk, in that we have the identity type as a subcategory, the country of issue, whether the person is a prominent person, and so on. So there are a number of underlying subcategories that make up each main category of risk. The principle that we follow throughout the system, however, remains exactly the same. So for the category of identity, there is a category threshold. And what this means is that if the cumulative risk score of all the various subcomponents that go into identity risk exceed the threshold that is set there, then the system will not automatically approve the client, but will refer the client to a remedial action user for personal human attention. The priority percentage simply refers to the relative weighting that you attribute to identity risk by comparison to the other main categories of risk. I will deal only with one subcategory of risk, which is the identity type risk, because the philosophy and the application is applied consistently throughout the eas-e Fica solution. So for the subcategory, there is also a threshold set by your organization, and for demo purposes, let's say that it is a 60. What this threshold means is that if any document to which had been attributed a risk rating that is higher than 60 or higher and equal to 60, then that document again will not automatically be accepted by the system, but it will be referred to a human person nominated by you for intervention and approval or other remedial activities. The list of documents that your organization is prepared to accept as proof of identity appears here, and if there is a change of heart, you can at any time add or remove any of those identity types and simply add the new type there. If you want to edit something, let's say, for instance, an asylum seeker certificate, your organization feels that the risk attributed to it is too low, simply click the edit icon and we make this a high risk item, and when I click update, it will automatically have updated. I just want to quickly dwell on these two requirements. The law requires that any document that you accept, such as a passport or a driver's license, that is subject to an expiry date, that you must have procedures in place to ensure that you are able to get a fresh copy of such a document. So when this little block is ticked, the system will automatically ask for the expiry date, and it will then generate a report for you to show you which documents are due to expire 120, 90, 60, and 30 days from the date of the report, so that you are able to make contact with the client in order to obtain a fresh copy. Also, as far as the photo requirement is concerned, some documents, like a birth certificate, for instance, do not come with a photo, and clearly you would want to have a photo quite apart from the document, and when that box is ticked, the data capture will not be able to put the client onto the system unless it is accompanied by a photo. Click the update, and you can see here that the asylum seeker certificate risk rating has been adjusted now to the 80. Remember that the remedial action users are those users in the organization to whom the system will automatically refer certain aspects which require human intervention. So where a risk threshold has been exceeded, or where you're dealing with a client who is a local or foreign prominent person, and so on. And this is the place where you allocate the persons in the organization that you wish to make responsible for that particular subsection of risk. You can remove a person from this list simply by clicking there, and it will be gone. And you can also add a remedial action user by making a selection. If you put an email, if you put the category in, then a list of persons who are associated with the company will appear, and you simply can make a selection. And because the system will already know that person's details, it will pre-populate. And you add the user, and a new user had been added. If you have work to do in any of the other main categories of CDD risk, or in any of the subcategories, you could either scroll up and select that subcategory, or if it is sequential, or you simply want to do routine maintenance on the system to check that everything is still okay, you can simply scroll from one page to the next. In the premise that we have no other work to do, as I said, the principle remains the same throughout the system. We can go to the user hierarchy section. And here is where I recommend that you add and remove users. You will recall as a remedial action user in the example, I have removed someone. Now, removing someone as a remedial action user will not automatically remove them as a user on the system. It simply means that they remain a user on the system, but that particular task is no longer allocated to them. If you want to remove someone permanently from the system, then this is where you will do it. If you want to add someone to the system, then this is also where you will do it by adding another user. Please remember, and this is quite important, that no changes that you have made in any section, either the AI details or the risk management section, or here, will have any effect if you sign out now. So the first thing that you have to do is finalize the process. This finalize the process is the signal that you send to the system to say, save all the work that I've done up to now. And that green right tick is your indication that the system has taken your work and saved everything. Okay, now I'd like to go back to the main menu and just briefly touch on some of the other functions there. The reports, there are three kinds of reports that the system make available to super users. The first is the expired ID report that I've already spoken about. The second is a failed re-verification report. What this report will show you in respect of each client and each company as a client on the system is when the system automatically tried to re-verify all the data subject to change and it was unable to do so, then it will generate this report for you on a monthly basis so that human intervention can be called for. And then the last one is a remedial action report. What this report shows you is a history of all the remedial action activities undertaken by every user in the company. And you can make a selection there. You can select per company or per ID number or per action required or in date range as I have it here. Please note though that the remedial action report is not a summary of all the outstanding work in the company. That will be in the outstanding issues section. And the reason that this is so is because part of remedial activities that are undertaken would be to delegate work to someone else, for instance, to obtain fresh documentation. But once the remedial activity is the delegation of that activity, then it will disappear from the remedial action report, and it will reside in the outstanding issue report until such time as the new documents have been obtained. Okay, I think the last point that I want to touch on here, and it's going to be the transition to the next module, is services. And services is where the actual customer due diligence together with the data capturing takes place. We will do this in the next module. Thanks for watching so far.